Hello and welcome to this first tutorial video for the Theme-O-Matic. In this video we will study a very simple use case where only a few properties are changed on a simple object made of a few prims. Here properties, also called parameters, mean for example the texture settings or the materials, things like normal map, specular map, or any combination of such properties. These examples are face properties because these settings exist for every face in every prim in the object. But the Theme-O-Matic enables you to change other kinds of properties, namely prim properties like light or size, or object properties as described on the website. So in this video I will be using the Theme-O-Matic to offer a means to retexture a regular mesh bench that are purchased on the Marketplace store. Of course, you should always keep a safe copy in your inventory in case you make a mistake. As one can see by examining the edit window, this object is made of 3 prims and all of them have several faces. Note that 2 prims are actually invisible because they are meant to be used for sitting through the use of half-sitter. The Theme-O-Matic was designed to have little to no interaction with other scripts and therefore goes very well along half-sitter. If you purchased the Theme-O-Matic from the Marketplace store, you will get several folders. For now we will concentrate on the main scripts folder where we will find the scripts to be used during the preparation phase, that is theme creation, as well as the main scripts used when activating the themes. The first thing we have to do is to create the themes. This is known as preparation phase. To do that, we will have to equip our object with several of the main scripts, namely the TOM core, TOM preparation, TOM generator, and TOM utilities. When this is done, I can access the main preparation menu by touching the object. Let's do that now to record a theme related to textures. Since we only want to record the textures, which is a face property, we will first go to the Object Properties menu and make sure every property is turned off there. It's easy because there are only 2 of them. The same goes for prim properties. Note that I can use the All None button to turn them all on or off at the same time. There are many prim properties, so they have been spread across 2 submenus. I do the same for the prim2 prop menu. Now let's have a look at the available face properties. That is, properties that exist for every face of every prim in my object. Here we deselect everything except texture. This means that the themes we will create from now on will record only the textures of selected faces and ignore all other properties. Of course, it's your decision to record any combination of properties if you wish to. Later, when we apply a theme, properties that were not included in the theme will just be left untouched. At this point, I can already make a theme containing all current textures for all faces of all prims in the object. Let's try that by clicking the Make Theme button. As you can notice now in local chat, a lot of encrypted lines have been created. This is your theme that should be copied into a note card for later activation. When it activates, this theme would set all textures on the object to the settings they currently have. While this theme would be perfectly usable, it is not optimized because it contains all the texture information for all faces. We have an example object with only 3 prims, so it's not a big deal. But as you may guess, this can become much too much information for larger objects, especially when we only have a few faces visible or worth retexturing. We will therefore use a mechanism to restrict the recording to what is actually interesting. In the Theme-O-Matic, this is called filters. You can access them through the Filters button on the main menu. There exist 2 filters, one for prim properties and another for face properties. Since we are only recording the texture, which is a face property, we will just use the face filter and ignore the prim filter. The first thing we will do is click on the List button to know how filters are currently set up. As you can see, the face filter is in exclusive mode but empty. This means that all faces will be considered since we are excluding no face. In this example, I want the recording to only consider a few faces, so I'm going to configure the face filter so that it includes only a few faces. The first thing to do is to switch the face filter to including mode, which is done by clicking the Face Policy button. Now, since the face filter is empty, nothing will be recorded at all. I therefore need to add faces to the filter. To do that, let's click the Add Face button. Then I can either click the face I want to add on the object, or type its number in the local chat as the prim number / the face number. Here let's just click the required faces to add them to the filter. I must, however, be careful not to click one of the invisible prims, of course, and to do that, I may activate the Viewer feature to display invisible prims with Ctrl-Alt-T. I need to add all the faces I want the textures recorded from. Another possibility would have been to leave the face filter in exclusive mode and select the faces I want to exclude from theme creation. The most important thing is that you have a clear idea of what to record and what not. Here let's just add all faces in the upper part of the object. At this point, just to make sure, I can click the List button again to have the face filter report its current configuration. We are now ready to make the first actual theme. Let's click the Make Theme button in the main menu and watch the local chat. Note that it appears in your local chat, but you are, as the owner, the only person who can actually see the generated lines. Now, let's create an empty note card in inventory, maybe in a distinct folder to keep things organized, and copy all the encrypted lines. Here, we have made our first theme. Note that sometimes the lines may just get too long if your object has a long name. In that case, you may need to either remove the chat headers in the note card, or better, temporarily shorten your object name before generating the theme. Okay, let's name this theme, for example, Upper 1. Of course, one theme is not very interesting if you don't have a second theme to switch to. So let's make another theme. The good news is that the properties and filters configuration is retained, so you don't have to redo it. To make a second meaningful theme, let's first retexture the required faces using the regular viewer tools. I have, for example, this texture. It's rather ugly, but it will do as an example. And I'm applying it to the required faces. Of course, you should always keep a safe copy of your object in inventory, just in case. Okay, done. Let's generate a second theme and copy it to a fresh new note card named Upper 2. Now we have two note cards containing themes, and we are now ready to test them. To do that, just put them inside the object's inventory along with the preparation scripts, and go to the Test Theme menu. The preparation script should detect your theme note cards and list them in the new menu that opens. It actually displays all the note cards names. Here, HavePause is not a theme, it's a note card related to HaveSitter. Let's just ignore it. We are still in testing phase. We have our two themes listed here, and we can activate them by clicking the corresponding buttons. As you can see, the themes are being applied as expected. Theme activation this way may be a bit slow, since properties are applied as they are read from the note cards, but we are still in testing mode, so this is not really important. What we did with textures can of course be done with any property or combination of properties. It leaves you the choice to make simple independent themes that affect individual properties, or more complex themes that include multiple properties at the same time. This is entirely up to you to decide. To make this example a bit more interesting, let's reconfigure the face filter so that only the faces in the lower part are selected. And again, make two themes. Let's name them Lower 1 and Lower 2. Since I decided to split the faces into two groups, upper and lower, note that the themes can now be applied independently for the upper and lower faces. Of course, this was my decision, but as you can see, it opens a wide range of possibilities to combine properties on prims or faces. In the next video, we will learn to use the themes in a real production mode through client scripts and speed things up dramatically by using preloaders. Thank you all for watching this video, and should you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me.